Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grow My Etsy Shop podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about content marketing. Content marketing is a great thing to have in your business, and it is an essential tool to bring value to your business outside of your products. Let me explain. When I sold my Etsy shop store, they weren't just buying my product. They were buying the influence I had over the market. That's because I had created content for the years that I had owned my shop. I had created content that was geared towards my audience. And so people were coming to me as an expert in my niche. They were coming to my content. They were engaging in my content because to them it was free content that they loved. And it helped build a voice. It helped build an audience around with what I was doing. Look at this podcast, for example. You are listening for absolutely free, but you're here. And what do I know about you? You're most likely an Etsy shop owner or my mom, one of the two. So as you create content that's geared towards your audience, you're going to find that they will come to you. What's great about content marketing is it's not very expensive to make. In fact, most of the time it can be free. It's just a matter of sitting down and coming up with the content. And that's the negative side of content marketing. It's the sitting down and coming up and creating content. And here's the worst part. Content marketing isn't usually instant results. Meaning, I'm going to create something on Monday, and on Tuesday, I'm going to generate sales from that content. To make content marketing worthwhile, you have to put in time and time. Meaning that you have to put in time in building the content and then allow a duration of time of content building so that you have lots of content under your belt. That's essentially a way to pull away from your competitors, though, is that if people are on the internet searching for things, trying to solve their problems, learn about a subject, get something taken care of, and you are the person who keeps coming up in front of them, they're going to trust you more than anyone else. Let me share with you what a friend of mine is doing in her industry. She is an extremely talented artist, and I've seen her create several Etsy stores selling different things. In fact, I have a portrait of my family that she painted hung on my wall. She is so talented. Over the years, her art has shifted. She's become more talented in specific areas, but ultimately she keeps opening different Etsy shops because she's hoping to kind of find the one that's going to be the gold mine, the one that's going to have the big fish, the one that's going to have lots of customers in it. And she recently made one of the best decisions in her life, and we were Marco Polo, you know that app Marco Polo. We were going kind of back and forth talking about it, and I was there kind of with her during the early stages. I was able to kind of coach her a little bit, and I just can see her taking off, and I'm super excited for her. So here's what she's doing. She got into the niche of painting on cupcakes, which a very unique niche. But apparently, there's a lot of people in this world who are intrigued with art on cupcakes. And she can, I'm not kidding you, she can paint a picture, like a picture of you on a cupcake, and is so talented at it. And so she was selling those products. Now, the problem she was running into is that it's not a scalable thing. She can't paint 800 of those a day. So she can't sell 800 of those a day. So she has a maximum number that she's allowed to sell per day. That's a problem. So one of the things that when we were talking back and forth is I recommended that she teaches other people how to do her art. That is scalable because there are a lot of people. She was getting a good following. And why was she getting a good following? Is it because they wanted the cupcakes, or is it because they thought the cupcakes were really cool? And as we started to kind of realize, it's both, right? There are people who, want them, but there's also people who just enjoyed it, just loved the process of it and admired her work. So as she started to kind of shift her voice to, I can teach you how to do this. I can help you do this. Here are techniques that you can do at home to get started in this. Here's how I make my frosting. Here's why I think it's better than other people's frosting. That's when her following really started to grow and people started to really connect with her. It's because she was giving away free content that was helping them be better at something that they had interest in. So fast forward to today, she has a pretty decent following and she's selling courses or classes. And what's so great about this is that it's scalable. So she could be making these cupcakes. She can be selling them as people are buying. She's obviously increased her orders by a ton as she's been doing this. But then on the other side, She's able to take in 50 students at a time who are paying money to learn how to do this. She's able to create Facebook groups that people want to be a part of, that they're engaging in, that she can sell to them later down the line. All this because she opened up a part of her business that was normally closed. Normally, they just saw the finish line. She was able to show the process. And during the process, she found that she had so much more potential in what she could be doing with her business. So let's talk about content marketing for us as Etsy store owners. If you're in the wedding business and you sell flowers, for example, there are 800 different problems that a bride-to-be has on their mind. One of them happens to be flowers, but they are looking for answers and their problems to be solved all around the internet. This leaves so much space open for you to content market. Now, you've probably seen these before on the internet where you say the 10 best 10 things you need to know on your wedding day, or the 10 best venues that you can get married at, or how you can have a stress-free wedding day without breaking a sweat, right? Like these are all you've seen these on the internet. If you're in the market, you've probably clicked on these things and read about them. Ultimately, yes, driving people to your website, if you have a website, driving people to your content, driving people to your blog is going to help build a following to what you're doing. The problem is if you drive someone to your website and then they leave, you've helped solve a problem for them, but there's no recognition that you were the one to solve their problem. So creating content that has a call to action is a great way to do this. You may have heard this on a few episodes of my podcast. This is content. I have a Facebook group. It's called Grow My Etsy Shop. It is on Facebook, facebook.com/Grow My Etsy Shop. You can go there and you can join my Facebook group. And I have other Etsy shop owners there that can help and talk about some of these principles, the marketing side, and kind of looking at the big picture of growing your Etsy store. So what did I just do here? I took my content that I'm giving out, in this scenario, it's a podcast, and I brought you to somewhere else that is also better version content than what you have. So there is something about content marketing that you can capture information. Here's a couple ways that you can do it. Number one, if you place a Facebook pixel on your blog or your website, Facebook will remember these people up to 60 to 180 days so that they come to your site, they see something there, they leave. Your pixel will remember that person. And what does that mean? It means that person is planning a wedding. And as Facebook collects that data of these people, they will collect it and hold that information for you. You can either A, market to those people through Facebook, or B, those exact people who came to your site, or B, you can say to Facebook, hey, look at we've had 500 people come to my site. Can you find me 500, or can you find me other people that are like this 500 people that have the similar interest and in a similar place in their life? And Facebook is very good at it. It's called a lookalike audience. And they say, yep. And you can then market beyond that. Another thing that you can do is if they come to your site and they see the 10 best wedding venues in your, let's say you do 10 best wedding venues in Northern California, and you then have one that's 10 best wedding venues in Idaho, and you just kind of create content that's just the content you've decided you're going to create, and you kind of go that direction. What you want to do is have some sort of call to action in the content that takes them somewhere else. So for example, let's say you create a Facebook group that's called Bride to Be. I just made that up. And what you'll do with Bride to Be is that you'll create a Facebook group that people can come to and talk about their bride stuff, their wedding dreams, their wedding plans, all that's there. And so you're going to essentially, someone's coming because they're planning a wedding and they're seeing, okay, here's the 10 best venues in Northern California. And they scroll through and they see the 10 best and they go, okay, well, I like this one. I don't like this one. I like this one. Oh, that one's too pricey. I wonder how much that one is. And then they say, hey, by the way, there's this Facebook group you can join. You go, shoot, I'm 100% in this. And they join that Facebook group. Now you've got them in a Facebook group. And so you can now market within that Facebook group as you're providing them content. This is kind of the new way of marketing. I would say somewhere between 5 to 7 years ago, smaller shops were very successful with direct marketing, meaning that they were able to just post their stuff up on the internet and people would support it and buy it. And there used to be a big trend about buy small and support small business. And and that's because previously to 5 to 7 years ago, it was kind of difficult to run an online store. you kind of had to be a bigger brand. You had to have developers to help get you on the internet. E-commerce was kind of a little bit difficult to run. So it was only like Walmarts and Kmart's, JCPenney, I'm naming all these stores out of business, that were online and selling their stuff. And probably 5 to 7 years ago is when it became a lot easier to get online. And so all these new products that people never seen before started showing up, and then direct marketing was really popular. The problem with 2020 and 2021 and 2022 and 2023 is it's saturated. At this point, direct marketing, we can get access to anything that we want with a simple search. And all these small stores are on the internet. All these small stores are getting in front of us. So the question is, how do we get in front of those people in the noisy environment? And content marketing is the answer to that. It's creating content that people want to get engaged with. That's part of building a brand, is having content that surrounds your brand. So taking a step back from who you are, I sell baby products. Okay, what are my target audience struggling with? What do they want to know? How can I help them with this? How can I create communities? How can I create an Instagram? How can I create pins that are going to help these new moms? So let's do Pinterest. You can get on Pinterest and create products that are going to help the new moms and include your products in that, right? That's called content marketing. You're creating these things, and you should be spending that time not just once. You shouldn't have one pin. You shouldn't have one board. You shouldn't have one. You should have 100. Now, does that mean you should have 100 tomorrow? No. But you should start on your journey to get 100. And that starts today. Creating a pin, and then just know in a couple weeks I'm going to do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again. Now, you should be pinning your stuff, obviously, but I mean creating a board, creating a theme board to help new moms with an idea of how can I help new moms, that when they're searching for these things, I am popping up. My stuff is coming in front of them. I'm getting people to my stuff. And then we could talk about this in future episodes, but then looking at the analytics and saying which one's actually working, and then branching off and creating more like that, including your products more heavily in it, and getting yourself the success that's there. That's called content marketing. Again, it is annoying because it's not instant. I don't put up my Pinterest board and all of a sudden get a ton of sales. But the idea is to saturate, to take as much as you can and spread yourself across as much as you can. And that's when you're going to be finding people on YouTube. You're going to be finding people on Instagram. You're going to be finding people on Pinterest. You're going to be finding people on Etsy. You're all finding people on Google. Like, you're going to be coming up through all of this. And that's how a way to scale your business, instead of just, I'm on Etsy and I hope someone finds me on Etsy. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, since we've talked about content marketing, go join my Facebook group. It's called Grow My Etsy Shop. It's on Facebook, and it's going to be filled with Etsy shop owners like yourself that are listening to these podcasts and are ready to take their business to the next level.